All right, good morning, folks. Saturday, a couple weeks since I dropped the car off for paint, and I really didn't get much done this week during the week, just working stuff. I did work on it a little bit yesterday, not a few hours on it. Let me just turn it around. We're making progress. Hold on. Okay. So, yep, got the interior done. Let me take this off. I did get driver's seat in, seat belts basically installed. This belt's in, that belt's in, that belt's in. These two are just they're just through, and they're sitting here. They're not actually bolted in. I'm waiting on some rings for here, kind of finish up the interior. This took quite a long time. It's on seat tracks. It all works. I had to give up a little bit of the angle. I don't know if you can see, crooked, so I could get the full travel on the seat. I'm gonna probably go back, lift the seat up, and put another bracket in there, and then kind of offset offset the seat some. I think there's room to do it. Right now, I mean, it gets all the way to the back, so the biggest person I think can probably get in there easy. I think I can rotate it just a little bit, but for right now, it's good. I could probably do it while the car's all together. Not going to really make a big deal about it now, probably talking about it too much, but we'll come back. I'd like to get it close to that angle, like it's sitting right there. That seat's gonna have to come up because you're basically, sitting on the floor. So I'm gonna bring that up about an inch. Gonna try and get the seats so at least they're the same angle, so it doesn't look silly. Other than that, didn't do too much. I'm going to do this side today, get this all in, get this seat out, put the other seat in. I did, you can't really see it with this light, but I've got the power steering pump all plumb now. I've got a tiny little bit of fluid in there. I thought I had more. I got to go get some, and then I've get some more fluid. And I've run the wire into the foot box for the trigger, and then I'm going to get it into the in behind the dash to 12 volt switched. So that's really it. That's all that I got done this week. So it's Saturday. I got a good 8 hours on it today. I'll definitely get the passenger side done, kind of angle the seat, or try not to angle the seat, and then adjust the driver's side to match the passenger side, while still trying to get full travel on the seat rail. So hopefully that all works out, and yeah, I guess we'll move on to the next thing. So, which I'm not quite sure what it is. Oh, I did want to mention something on the other side before I go. You'll notice this is the filler panel for the between the body and the chassis. And on this side, what I typically do is I run extra carpet when I'm putting this piece in. And you can see I've got the interface already there, but it's not glued or riveted. So then at this point, when I go to put the body on, I'll take that piece of aluminum off, fold the carpet in, put everything back together again, and then fold it back over so it's one continuous, no seam. The only thing is that you have to put, because the way this folds, I'll have to put a triangle piece here and a triangle piece there and just blend it, which I've done on several cars, and unless you're looking right at it, and you shouldn't be able to tell. So, and that's just because of this type of carpet, it blends pretty good. And then at that point, I can actually install this footbox side permanently Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Let me get to work, and we'll probably try and get a end of the day video for this weekend, or for Saturday, I guess. And I got all day Sunday, and then Monday's President's Day, so that's another day off. So a lot of work to get done, but we got quite a few days off. So hopefully, it'll look like something. So stand by. All right, good morning, folks. Another day on the weekend, so it's Sunday. Got quite a bit done yesterday. Not as much as I wanted to, but this is the part of the build that, I think the little things just add up, right? So, I mean, I still got to do the dash wiring and finish that. I got the dash layout done. Got my switches in yesterday, and some other things, but it's just the small details. They're not complicated tasks. They just take a while. So like mounting a seat is just 4 bolts, but getting the carpet laid in and all that stuff. So let me turn it around real quick. I'll show you what I've done. It's not. It does look much better than it did. So hold on. So I've got the carpet all laid out and done. Factory 5 gives you all this carpet. I use the stock carpet as template for this carpet. This is a higher quality carpet. It doesn't tend to leave those little carpet balls all over the place. Just because I'm making this out of, following the template, this edge right here and this edge right here are unfinished edges. So I think for right now it looks okay. For durability, I may put a piece of aluminum on this edge, and that way it won't peel. But it's a trunk. But again, those little tiny details, and they even give you the carpet for the side, so it's kind of cool. I still have to cut a hole for the quick jack here and there. That's the hole for the trunk striker, and then this little bulge here. If you recall before, there's a bolt here to hold the gas tank strap. So I mean, there's not much else I can do other than to expose the bolt. But I decided just to leave it like that. And then I finished up the passenger side seat and all the carpet therein. So that's all done. So the interior is basically done. I've got some bezels that I'm getting for there, and I've got to put the switches and everything along there, but I'm going to leave the dash alone for right now. I did fix or adjust the boot for the shifter. It was a little long on this backside, so this was actually like sticking in, and it had this goofy, I don't know, bulge in it. So I basically pulled the rear part of the boot in, and then cut a section off, and it gives you a little better profile. Let's see what else. Oh, I did get fluid for the what do you call it, for the brake. For the steering. So the power steering pump has fluid in it. I actually overfilled it on accident. So today's task is I'm gonna weigh the car, set ride height, not all in that order, and then do a 4-wheel alignment. And that's really the task for today. Get all the suspension bolts tight, lube everything, quickly, you know, getting down to brass tacks. And then tomorrow we're getting another big box. So this should be good. A lot of work gonna have to happen this week to get that box put in, but it's I think we'll enjoy that. All right, so anyway, so let me get the four-wheel alignment started, and first step is disconnect the sway bar, and then we'll start from back to front. So I'll try and do some mid-progress updates on that, and then at some point I need to vacuum the AC. So I may do that towards the end of the day. We'll see how long the alignment takes. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, so I set the, let me turn this around. I set the rear at 4 3/8, and I set the front at 4 1/8 for ride height all the way around, just to get it started, and then I'll corner weight from there, and what I'll do is make sure whatever the adjustments I make, I'm going more pressure for more ride height, so that when the body comes on, it'll compress down. I'm looking for right around 4 inches ride height, and as you can tell, I don't have the body on. It will affect the ride height just a little bit, but I'll go back in after the fact and just double check the alignment. But for right now, it should get really, really close. And then what I've done now is I've run string all around the car. I've got to adjust this one. It's not quite in the center of the hub. These PVC pipes are to hold the string off the back of the front tire, so I'm right on the hub, which is the center of the front suspension, right? So trying to get the track correct. You start on the front as far as the space, and then what I'm going to do now is I measure the string from here to this fixed point, and I need to first attack the toe to make sure that the string is not touching the front of the tire like it is right there. And then I'm just going to adjust the toe to match the spec, and I believe I'm going to be something like an 1/8 or just under for the rear toe. But this string will make sure that I'm adjusting equally. It's actually pretty close. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing some measurements. I've got to get my square out and do the toe, and I've also got to check the camber. So I've got my Longacre digital protractor or alignment tool. I'll bolt that to the hub, and I'm going to work camber and toe together, starting with probably do toe first, or I'm sorry, camber first, and then I'll attack toe. So stand by, I'll get some measurements. All right, so I'm going to work toe right now, because toe in the rear does affect the camber some. So I'm going to show you what I did. I made one adjustment, and it's still a little bit toed out. So let me show you what I did. All right, so I've got my string here. I've got a little bit of space right there. I had to add another piece of wood, a couple pieces of wood there to bring that string out. But so what I ended up with is, hopefully you can see this, I've got 72 and 15/16 in the front, and 72 and 3/4 is 12/16. So it's toed out. Well, before I go make the adjustment, because you would think I've got room there, and I need to tow that in some more. This is where the thrust, so you don't have a crabby Cobra. So I know that this string is level on the hubs, and I'm sitting at, I don't know, 8 3/16 on this side. And you can see that this distance is quite a bit narrower. And I'm at 8 and a 16th, 1/8 right there. So I think I'm going to actually bring this side in, and when I do that, this side will go out, which will bring this string out. So I'll make that measurement, and then I'll keep nugging away at it, and then I'll just show you how it ended up. But that's basically the deal, back and forth, and then I'll work the camber, and then come back and double check the toe. Stand by. Okay, well, I made one adjustment on the toe. So if you recall, I did the initial one, one guess, and then checked the actual toe was still towed out, and we knew we were towed out. So again, you recall, hold on, there's the space there, and when I get to this point, what I'll do, and I only made this one adjustment, I take my calipers, and again, it doesn't really matter what this is as far as distance. What I care about is that this distance here, let's see, get that, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. I'm trying to get this tool in there, hopefully you see that, so that the string just barely gets touched. So then I'll come back over here, and I just made the adjustment based on that, and I did, again, try to do this one-handed. Basically just about the same. Then, if you recall, I'll take this thing, and we're at 8 3/16 ish, right in there. Go back to the other side, and this side still didn't move, right? Still the same, and that's important so we don't crab going down the road. And then what I ended up with is at 72 11/16, 72 14/16, which is 3/16 toe in. So at that point, I'm going to leave it, and then I'm going to tack camber, and then remeasure everything. But for the most part, the rear of the car, so as we look this way, since this string is now parallel with this string, and this distance isn't going to change because the hubs are basically straight, and the pickup point is at the center of, or the, I guess I would say the pickup point. I guess the departure point of. string is centered, so it doesn't matter really. I mean, it's going to change a little bit, but not much, and the tires are basically straight. But at the center, there's very little change when you're turning the wheels. So again, this is, I've been, I learned this from my best friend Wayne, and it's proved me well so far. I don't know what we've known each other a little while, but I've been driving the Daytona that way, autocrossing it, and it's fine, and it tracks right down the road. So I'm gonna attack the camber. We'll see what the settings are on that, and then we'll move to the front, and that's where the fun begins, because then we get caster to deal with. So stand by, and I'll get you the camber side. Okay, well, as luck would have it, working on the passenger side, and let me turn this around real quick. Hopefully you see this. So I place this back on the car, and let me get it all situated. So I'm at basically 0.6 camber, which is groovy. So that is, so I think the spec is 0.5 to 0.75 or something like that, and 1/8 toe in. So I'm at 0.6. I'm gonna probably leave it right there, and I'll go see what the other side is. Hopefully it's close, and we can just move on to the front. So stand by. Okay, and I was pretty close. I was at 1 degree camber, so push this guy. There you go. 0.6, and I'm just pushing on this because it's kind of off a little bit, but 0.6. So, and I remeasured this distance again, and that hasn't changed. So thankfully we're not crabbing, so, and the toe is still good. So we'll move to the front. So I gotta get those blocks out of the way. I'll move them back here if I need to, probably will, and then play the same game on this. I've got to make sure, I got to put the steering wheel on, make sure I'm happy with what straight is, and then adjust the toe after I do camber and caster, because I can do those independently without the tie rod connected, and then adjust the toe so it's even with this string. And what I'll probably do, I'll probably measure off this bar to the string, which is right there. And I'd like to get something a little bit closer to over here. I don't want to use this aluminum, but I can also just use the back of this wheel off this string as well. So anyway, we know that the back is tracking to the center of the hub. So I'll do the camber caster on here, put the steering wheel on, get the wheels aligned or straight, and this car should roll a whole lot better because it's a pain in the butt to push right now. So stand by. Okay, and so magic of YouTube, I've got 1.5 degrees camber, 4.6 caster. You could probably crank it up a bit more, but I'm gonna leave it like that till I understand how the power steering pump is working. So I've installed the steering wheel most of the way. I still want to be able to pop it off to get the dash, and I've eyeballed center, or straight if you will. Tie rods are disconnected, and now I will set toe based on this distance and make sure I'm like, I don't know, about a 16th or so. Usually I go to like 3/16, but I'm gonna do 16th to 0 toe. And then I will adjust the tie rods to fit, then remeasure everything, cycle the steering through 1 or 2 times, verify nothing moved, and then we're done. And then after that, I'll take the wheels off, put the center caps on, and then lube all the fittings, torque check everything, and yeah, that should be basically it for the roller, and it should roll quite a bit nicer, which will be good as we get closer for tomorrow, because tomorrow's a big day, big package coming, so stand by. All right, well that took a little longer than expected, but let me show you the work, my math. Hopefully you can see all that. So let's see, it took me 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 tries. Ended up a 16th toe in. Obviously that's front, that's back, and it's done. So so now I was gonna take the wheels off and tighten everything up, put the spinners on, but just to be efficient, let's weigh this thing, corner weight it, and see what it weighs without the body. And then I think we can do math from there to see what the car should weigh. Look, I've got most of everything. I've got a bunch of extra tools and stuff and things in the back. I'll take all that stuff out. And I'm going to corner weight it. I think I'm going to corner weight it without me in it this time. See how that works. And then I'll take a look at how far off it is with me in it. So stand by for that. I'll get the weights, the scales all set up, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. Should take a minute. Stand by. All right, well, a couple adjustments. Right rear, I went a little bit too much. Had to come back, and then I made the left front snug. It wasn't quite snug yet, so I really just needed the one wrench on the right rear a couple turns. So that, if you do the math, that should be like 50.1 or so cross weight. I'm not so worried about front to rear, but so that the pressures on the tires going around corners and going down the road, you want the cross weights, so this one and that one and that one and that one to be, you know, optimum is 50, and I want to 50.2 without me in it and no body. So the body goes on, and it's not, well, I guess it could be technically weighted side to side somewhat, depending on how the layup is in the doors, I guess, depending on how they sit and if they're exactly the same weight. But at least to get me in the ballpark, everything's going to settle anyway. So sorry, too much food this morning. So everything's going to settle after, you know, about 100 or so miles. Have to go back, double check, you know, all the suspension, nut and bolt, everything, realign everything, and then we'll re-corner weight. But for right now, I'm going to call victory on the scales, and then we're at 22.33 without the body. So should be, I'm going to say around 25. Again, this has AC in it, power steering, custom interior, full carpet trunk, IRS, front sway bar, which isn't hooked up. Don't want to hook up, don't leave the sway bar hooked up because that'll mess up your cross weights. You want the car to be flexible, the suspension to be flexible, so you can see the pressures down on the tires, and that sway bar distributes and absorbs that pressure. So you need to make sure that's disconnected, but then don't forget to hook it back up. And since I'm going to nut and bolt and grease everything anyway, it's not a big deal. Let's see, I've got the rear trunk shocks on there. Yeah, and then I've got full insulation on the interior, and the, what is it called, the bed liner on all the panels, and that makes it pretty heavy. So I'd say probably got maybe 250 pounds of extra stuff in the car, maybe. So would have liked to seen this down probably around 2,000. But I'm not really worried about it. It's gonna have plenty of power. Okay, so we'll let you back at it, and I'm gonna go get cleaned up and yeah, get ready for Daytona 500. So we'll see you soon. Tomorrow's big day. I have to get a good video of that. All right, so stay tuned.